Meanwhile, there's this kid, this young kid out the front. He goes, "Oh," I come out and he goes, "Oh, you need a new tattoo?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he takes me to this little place called Celebrity Ink. And they end up having a look. They end up putting a massive, big panther down my arm because they asked, "Oh, what do you like?" And I went, "Oh, I'm an Australian. I like sport." I go, "What sport do you like?" "Oh, rugby league." What team do you like?" "Panther." And they go, "We could do something like that." So I've got a massive, big panther from my shoulder down to just my elbow, covering that saying. Plus, they ended up putting the saying properly on my arm, and they did it at a much cheaper rate. And so I ended up with that. Then I ended up, 2 days later going, "Oh, I want another tattoo." So I went and got more on my other arm. So yeah, I come back a clean skin, and I went there clean skin, come back with 4 or 5 tattoos. So it's the power of Thailand.
Yeah, it has a few.
All right, so before we get on to my questions, I have one more thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about something I've watched a couple of times, which I think is hilarious, is Bugger All.
Yes. Oh, if only we could get that up, mate. I think we're going to have to keep trying and not let go of that one. We had great fun putting that little pilot together, and we got knocked back by ABC and SBS, and they came up with excuses that it was too close to other shows they had, and I just that was crap, really. Let's face it. The shows
there is a show quite like it, not exactly, but the way it's filmed and the way it's done, it's very much like the I think it's called Rostered On.
Rostered On, I don't know that one.
And it's based on a retail store, and it's filmed very much like that, and that's very much
how it is.
I
think I know that one.
And that's when I looked at Bugger All, I was like, this is like a better version of that, a much funnier, Aussier. I mean, that's Australian, but this is more Australian, and just, mate, I just laughed it because I've done time as a traffic controller, and just seeing you as a traffic controller, I was just like pissing myself laughing because I was like, and that's sometimes when you're sitting there, you just want to tease the shit out of the drivers, like with back and forth. So if you haven't seen it, guys, get on YouTube and write Bugger All Council on. Get as many views on it. Yeah. Type as many times as you can that you want it as a show.
Yes.
And let's get it moving. Let's get Bugger All trending, I reckon.
Yeah. Look, we had over 300,000 views. I think we had a lot of great feedback and stuff. So look, mate, I know everyone would be loving. They did it all for nothing. Everyone worked for the love of it. So, I reckon it's got legs. We'll just keep pushing with that one, mate, and see how we go. But anyone that can see it and get behind it and, write a great comment, we'd love it.
There you go. That's it. Bugger All Council. Get across it, guys. You guys in America that listen to the show, please get across it. It's great Aussie humour, and you can see what it's like to laugh as an Australian at weird stuff.
Or what it's like to not work on the council.
And wonder why they get so much shit for not doing anything. All right, let's get to the part of the show where I ask you weird and wonderful questions. Are you ready for this, Scotty?
I'm ready.
Oh wait, before I want to bring this up first. I just want to bring this up before we go into my questions. I might get the year wrong. I think it was 2015. Did you or did you not chase down a thief?
Yes, I did. Well, with the help of my local copper, mate, I saw this guy breaking into a car in my street, and we have a PCYC in my street, and I saw this guy and I thought, I'm sure he just smashed that window of that car. So I pulled up on the corner, and as soon as he saw me get out, he bolted, and I just yelled out to the PCYC, my mate over there, Daz. I went, Daz, we've got a thief, mate. Let's go. So I've started chasing, and he's yelling out, which way? And we're yelling out to each other, and we jumping fences and everything else. And then this guy was in my backyard. He had a screwdriver. That was his weapon, but he had broken in his car. We ended up tracking him down to the back of North Gong Hotel, and the coppers got it to him before I did, which was good because they gave him a bit of a hello, how you going? And which he deserved because he ended up having 4 warrants out for his arrest from Liverpool. And his gig was he'd get on the train from Liverpool, come down to Wollongong, and break into cars, jump back on the train, go home.
Of course, he was from Liverpool.
Well, hey, I'm not here to judge, but yes, he
I
was.
do. I judge quite harshly on Liverpool. I live near Liverpool, so I can judge quite harshly on them.
Yeah, you can deal with them when they come to you.
Yeah, I'm from Western Sydney, mate. We can tease our own. And, why isn't that a show? Scott and Daz as a buddy cop show.
Scott and Daz track down the Liverpudlians. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
I'd watch that in a heartbeat. All right, so
well, he was pretty excited.
Was he? All right,
yeah,
action.
The cop because he'd been behind a desk for like 3 years, and it just happened to be that his boss was around, so he had to have his full gear on, his stun gun, everything else. The rest of the time, he's talking to delinquent kids about trying to get their life back on track, which is a great thing that he does. But yeah, he was just stoked to get out on the job.
That's it. That is a pilot. If I have never heard one. That's a pilot for the first show. That's an origin story about how you two come together to become Scott and Daz. All right, so the first question I have, which you probably have heard, that I ask everyone, and a lot of people get this mixed up, this question, so I'll ask it the way I ask it, and you give me the answer the way you answer it, and we'll have a laugh or whatever we do it. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over. Definitely over.
So over what? On the roll?
Over. Leaving over so it comes down over the top of the roll, not underneath the back end. If that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, all right. You've answered it right. So I've asked that I've asked that question many times to people, and
mate, if I go into somebody's toilet and it's on under, I take it off and turn it around. I don't care who it is, where they live, if I know them or not, and I'm changing it. That's it.
You lose control with under, I reckon. You start pulling, it just continues.
Forget it. I'm not in under ever.
All right, so, mate, what is the most ridiculous fact you know?
Oh, jeez, the most ridiculous fact I know. That's tough. The most ridiculous fact I know.
Something about Stevie? Something about a country or something?
Well, ridiculous fact I know they take the fangs out of the tarantulas over there in that little town in Cambodia. Ridiculous fact. I don't know if it's a ridiculous fact.
I want to know. They take the fangs out, but that's the fangs. But what about the actual poison sac? The venom sac. So they take that out?
I don't know if tarantulas have a big venomous sac as such. I know that when they put the live ones on you and they're on bare skin, they actually take them. The kids take them off you because they start trying to bite you.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough one. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
We'll come back to that one if you want. I'll ask you this one. I asked a lot of people this, but you probably have got a really good idea with this because you've been across many countries and you ought to. What's the weirdest smell you've ever smelt?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, Rotorua in New Zealand was hard to get used to in the first 10 minutes you were there because the sulphur smell is like you're running through the corridor at your high school, dropping a couple of sulphur bombs. But yeah, that smell was pretty harsh, and also the smell of the wet markets in Saigon or Ho Chi Minh, whatever you want to call it, where pretty much every animal. If you think of the Wuhan markets, pretty much think of there in Saigon, but without the bats. I didn't see any bats, but I saw everything else. And I'll tell you what,
I saw a video of a guy walking through that, and I was nowhere near it, but I feel like I could smell it.
You don't
just looking at all the meat, like the meat sitting there for ages, like the snake and the fish.
That's probably one of the most memorable, distasteful smells I've dealt with.
All right, so if your 5-year-old self suddenly found themselves inhabiting your current body, what would your 5-year-old self do first?
In my current body?
Yes.
Oh, 5-year-old in my current body.
At 5 years old, what do you think you'd do?
I'd probably get in a car and drive a car, like really fast and really hard. Because I know you couldn't do that at 5 years old. I mean, there's a few other things you might try, but that's the first thing that popped in my head. That's the first thing that came into my head was get in the car and just flog it. Because I remember being a kid, you always wanted to be in a car. You played with cars, you sat in those little Tonka trucks, or I don't know. I'm going with that one.
What's the sexiest name you've ever heard?
The sexiest name. Oh.
Mine's always been like, so if listeners know, mine's always been Amara. I don't know what it is, but Amara is just, it does it for me.
Called Samara, so I'm not going to say that.
Oh, well, I apologize to you, niece.
No, but that's Amara, not Samara, so you're fine. Sexiest name I've ever heard.
It can be fictional as well. It can be from a TV show. It doesn't have to be something that somebody's named. It's just a name that you've heard and you've gone, oh, you know what? That's actually a really good name. I mean, Barry and Doug are never going to get that Covenant award for being the sexiest names.
It's not Steve.
Shout out to you, Dad.
on your dad. Mate. The blonde chick off Game of Thrones. What's her name?
Amelia. Or that's her real name?
That's her real name. Yeah.
Amelia. Like she goes by Khaleesi, but what else is what's her name actually in the show? You've got me stumped here. Here. I'm gonna have to look it up now. It's
Targaryen, isn't it?
What was it?
Isn't her name something Targaryen, or no? That's the other dude.
No, that's her last name. Let's have a look. Give me a second. I'm looking it up right now. Denarius.
Daenerys.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, I like that. That's sexy.
Oh yeah. You know, after a bit of a fact that when Game of Thrones in the last 2 seasons, the number one name for a girl ended up being Khaleesi.
There you go. See,
the amount of people they just I don't know. Khaleesi is a girl. We're gonna have a lot here. Well, what was it? I said it on another show. I met a girl whose parents named her Crystal Beth.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she hates it.
Oh really?
You can imagine why.
No, I got no idea. That's freaking crazy.
What's the weirdest thing a guest has done at your house?
At where? At my house?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll broaden that one if you want. Wherever you can.
No, we don't have to. I've got one that's popped straight into my head. It was back in the Super League days, or just after Super League, and I knew a fair few of the footy players. I actually emceed all the Panthers, Sharks, and Bulldogs events, like their public events during Super League years. Those couple of years there. Go the Panthers. And Jason Stevens came over to my place for dinner one night, and he hadn't met my wife before, and we're having dinner, and he said, I've got to go to the toilet. And I said, yeah, cool, it's down there. But he went out the backyard and pissed on the grass. There you go. Now, there is a weird story, right? That's the weirdest thing, I guess, especially, like, I know, if we're at a party and we're having a big party in the backyard and, the toilets were full, yeah, cool. Go into the bush. Nah, that's what happened. I wonder if Jace remembers that.
Was he, had he had a few?
No, he didn't even drink. He didn't drink.
He doesn't even have an excuse. He doesn't even have an excuse.
No, he doesn't. It was like, and my wife at the time talked to me, she went, what the fuck? Yeah. No, just piss.
All right, so if you had to buy 3 things to make the cashier laugh at the front of the store, what would they be?
I think it's happened to me before, especially when I was younger. my mum would send me to shops and to buy tampons